say, gentlemen, schedule the box 12 rounds. I've gone over the rules in the dressing room. I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Most of all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, good luck.
The mentality of Vincenzo Gualtieri is to be respected. He said, I understand Janibek is a strong fighter with excellent punching power, but we're in the top level now, and I will only fight fighters who are good. That's what boxing needs. Stop hiding behind the O. Go out there and look for glory. And that's what Vincenzo Gualtieri and Janibek Alimkhanuly are trying to do here in this middleweight title unification. The power of Alimkhanuly in the green trunks trimmed in red against Il Capo, the boxer, Vincenzo Gualtieri.
Gualtieri has an interesting style. It's untraditional. You know, right now he's fighting in an orthodox stance, but he also can fight in the southpaw stance. He is a left-hander as well.
How'd you prove it, Tim?
Well, what I did was I threw my pen across the table during the fighter meetings, and he picked it up with his left hand. And I said, oh, you're left-handed. Makes a lot of sense.
You hear Janibek chants, you hear Il Capo chants as well here in Rosenberg, Texas.
See that lunging right there? Janibek's gonna make him pay. Right there, he took a picture right there of Gualtieri going over his back leg, bringing his back leg forward and squared up. The uppercut will be coming sooner than later.
And both have vicious uppercuts because that's the punch that Gualtieri dropped Esquiva Falcao in his world championship fight to win the world title his last time out. But his power does not compare to Janibek Alimkhanuly.
Well, he caught him and he hurt him because it was a punch he didn't see. It came from underneath. You know, the uppercut, Gualtieri is reactive. So if you put enough pressure on him, if you're close enough, he's going to release those uppercuts. And they're quick, they're accurate, and to the point.
The other thing that Gualtieri tends to do is walk with his hands low, and you're seeing it there. For moments, he picks them up, puts them out as earmuffs, but there's opportunities for Janibek when he walks like that with those hands low to connect. Good defense there from Gualtieri as he get those hands back up as Alimkhanuly was shooting that right, but that jab in the left cross get in.
There it is. You know, this round, Janibek is just taking his time. Taking his time. He doesn't feel threatened at all. He's bagging up Gualtieri even with his feints. Gualtieri has definitely felt that power. And he doesn't want to get hit cleanly. That's the reason why he's playing defense right now. He wants Janibek to wear down just a little bit so that way he can start working. But Janibek is so good with his range. So good with his range. Takes a half a step back right there to land that left hand.
Gualtieri trying to goad Alimkhanuly into making a mistake. As Janibek misses with that long uppercut, thinking he's Emmanuel Navarrete for a second. Round one of this middleweight title unification is in the books. In our fighter meetings, Janibek Alimkhanuly told us, you haven't seen the best Janibek because I haven't seen the best opponent. None of my opponents have been on my level. Tonight, Vincenzo Gualtieri wants to change that in this unification bout, as one of these two men will either go back to Kazakhstan or Germany holding two belts.
Gualtieri right now, he's looking for an opportunity to rush in, to get close, to close the gap right now. Janibek right now is holding his ground, using his jab, using that up jab, trying to split the guard of Gualtieri.
You saw the promo for October 28th, the baddest man on the planet, Tyson Fury or Francis Ngannou. One is the lineal heavyweight champion, the other, the MMA champion at heavyweight. Tonight we're going to find out who the baddest man at 160 pounds is, Alimkhanuly or Gualtieri.
Janibek now is looking for that uppercut. He's sitting on that back foot, keeping his head back towards his back foot. And he's looking to entice Gualtieri. He wants him to get a little aggressive. Gualtieri's not taking the bait. He's taking his time.
Gualtieri understands his identity as a fighter.
See that uppercut?
Here, but that uppercut from Janibek follows it up with a left to the liver.
But Gualtieri also threw an uppercut, a right uppercut, right in between, just slipped past the head of Janibek.
He's got to make Janibek respect him, because if not, he's going to walk right through him.
Well, what Janibek can do is pick up his jab. Both fighters can pick up their jab. You know, that space in between, there's not much going on. Those are opportunities for you to win that battle, to give your opponent something, get him to worry about something. Then that way you can lead on your counters like that. See, flick jabs, throw some bait out there. You want him to try to commit and counter and just lay a trap for him.
Nice body shot from Janibek, straight to the solar plexus.
That was nice right there. I like that right hand and the quick forward shift by Gualtieri to get in the inside and land a few shots. See, Southpaw versus Orthodox, you know, a lot of times you hear about the left foot outside, lead foot dominance, yes. And a lot of times you don't hear people that they say, you know, don't move to your right. You can move to your right when you have the proper space or distance. That's not a problem. You just can't move one way and be predictable. You know, you can move both ways. But again, it's all about having the right range, being outside.
But you mentioned in your lab, Tim, as
Yes.
you see that double jab from Alimkhanuly, how good the Kazakh fighter is at closing those gaps. And that's the challenge that Gualtieri is facing here as round 2 comes to an end. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. All right, when you get a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, Tim, you were explaining the importance of that lead foot. And Janibek's already using it to his advantage here early in this fight.
Yeah, but sometimes your feet get too close. You step on the foot of your opponent. Now, I don't know if that was purposely done right there by Janibek. It was twice in a row right there. But I would assume that it was probably done purposely.
After the second and the third time?
Yes.
I would think so, Tim.
Yeah, keep your man still.
There, now, Gualtieri says, oh, I can do the same thing with my big old size 12.
But you know what happens, though? So you step on the fighter's shoe right there, as you keep seeing Janibek doing. You see the referee's not paying attention to it. Now what happens is if Janibek hits him with a shot, but it's not a clean shot, and he goes down, now that's unfair.
That is.
So the referee has to pay attention to that.
There is no instant replay here.
So that was the counter.
So, Tim, that's interesting because it could happen that it looks like a knockdown, but it actually isn't, and it's counted as one. But Janibek finally lands that left uppercut after doubling up the jab, as Brian Viloria, his new trainer, asked him to do right before round 3.
Again, Janibek is staying patient, but now what he's doing is he's countering the counter. So he's getting a flick jab out there, flicking it out there, getting him to look at it, and he knows that Gualtieri is trying to counter, and when he does counter, he makes a miss, and then he comes right back with his offense. So a lot of back and forth right here from Janibek.
You don't get to win 300 amateur fights without having boxing skill, and when you have power like Janibek shows there, it gets overlooked.
Yep. And right now he has Gualtieri a little spooked. He doesn't want to commit. Gualtieri usually will commit. Janibek is too good at controlling the distance, and he doesn't want to walk into anything. But there's going to come a time where Gualtieri's going to have to sell out because he's losing these rounds. And when he does sell out, that's what Janibek is waiting on. He's waiting on him to sell out and get over-aggressive so that way he can catch him with a kill shot.
It's pick your poison against Janibek Alimkhanuly. Do you want to slowly be punished, or do you just want to be sent home quickly?
Yes, and right there, Janibek is just catching him in the slip, actually catching him changing positions, going from the southpaw to the orthodox stance, squaring up. And Janibek was waiting on that. That is something that you work on in the gym, and that was something that he alluded to in the fighter meeting. He said, oh, yeah, when he's in this switch, he's not set. I'm going to catch him.
You see a little bit of swelling and some bruising under the left eye of Vincenzo Gualtieri here early in round 3. And it's that jab that's just doing damage. It's a piston that Alimkhanuly sticks out there. It's not just a measuring jab. Back inside the Fort Bend epicenter, Janibek Alimkhanuly and Vincenzo Gualtieri as we start round 4. Mark Kriegel, your unofficial scorecard after 3.
I don't want to break too much news, but I got a 3-0 for Janibek. This might be an actually interesting fight, but for one thing,
Ooh, there's a nice
Gualtieri got to throw
combination.
some punches. There he goes.
Well,
Hurt him
Alimkhanuly
with
is the
that
one
body
who landed not only a left cross, but also a body shot. So Alimkhanuly, when Gualtieri tried to open up, made him pay.
Shoot, I mean, I thought that Jamel Charlo was bad. My goodness, Alimkhanuly. What is up with these champions not coming to fight? What is the problem? Come to fight.
You think Gualtieri didn't come to fight, you mean?
I mean, right now he's trying to survive. He ain't fighting.
Well, Janibek's going to say, I'm going to make sure you don't finish this fight on your feet. We knew Gualtieri does not have the punching power. And when you mention the fact that you got to throw your hands, he's thrown 46 compared to 117 for Janibek Alimkhanuly. That's just not going to cut it.
What did I tell you? I told you somebody's fool's gold. And right now, you know who's looking like fool's gold right now? Look, you can be a champion, but that doesn't make you a great fighter. You know, you can get lucky. You can fight the right opponent. They match you up right. You have a good day. But then when you get in there's levels to this game. That's what it is. And that's what Gualtieri's experiencing right now. There's levels. Janibek's is levels ahead of him. Or above him, I should say.
Gualtieri had 100 amateur fights, 172 of those. Janibek 307 losses to go with that. So you could see the difference in pedigree. Nice jab from Alimkhanuly, who takes a left from Gualtieri. And that should make him think, look, I can hit Alimkhanuly. So why not try it?
He don't want that counter. Them shots are hard, Bernardo. They're sharp, they're quick, they're accurate, they're on the money. And they sting. See, that's the Cuban style right there. That's what you're seeing from Gualtieri with those hands down, trying to be elusive, trying to move his head. But Janibek is timing it perfectly with his jab. Oh, he hurt him with that shot.
Janibek trying to find his range, trying to find that moment to unleash on Gualtieri. And we talk about Janibek making his punches count. He usually lands 36% of his power punches. Tonight he's at 54%, and that is not a number that Il Capo Gualtieri wants Jan Alimkhanuly to be around if he's gonna finish this fight on his feet. In the corner of Vincenzo Gualtieri, Frankie Saldama said, you're getting hit unnecessarily because you're not listening to me. You need to feint. And then on Janibek's corner, Brian Valoria, in their first fight together, says, stay the course. Don't allow him to get on track.
Yeah, because the minute you give Gualtieri confidence, that's when he gets confident. He starts letting his hands go. He starts feeling himself a bit. You know, you never want to let a guy gain confidence and fight his fight. And Janibek is fighting a disciplined fight right now. But I want to see later on in the fight if he can step on the gas a little bit and try to get Gualtieri up out of there. Take a little bit more chances because Gualtieri is not a big puncher. He's not a big puncher. You can use defense. You can catch and shoot. There's a lot of different things that you can do to mount your attack.
But Alimkhanuly staying disciplined behind that stick. That jab is causing trouble not only under the left eye of Gualtieri, but there's also a slight scrape on the bridge of the nose of Vincenzo Gualtieri. There's that jab and that left cross from Alimkhanuly.
This is brutal. This is brutal. Like, you being a fighter in the ring, you got two hands just like the other man, and you can't lay a finger on him. Demoralizing.
Because when you take a risk, Alimkhanuly makes you pay.
Yes. Brutal. You just know that you're outskilled and ain't nothing you can do about it. And you're just trying to buy your time and get through the fight.
Yeah, but here with Gualtieri, he understands he doesn't have the punching power to neutralize. Sometimes you can get beat a lot of rounds and you have that equalizer. Gualtieri does not possess that in his arsenal.
Yeah, you're right. But I didn't have a whole lot of punching power either.
Ooh, that uppercut hurts Gualtieri as he reels back. Alimkhanuly is in finish the fight mode, and that's exactly what he's trying to do here in round number 5. But what a great recovery from Gualtieri.
Moved his feet, bought himself some time. Trying to clear his head. He was buzzed for a split second. Gualtieri, he's in shape because he's recovered quickly right now, but he's still not out of the woods. Janibek looking to line him up again for a big shot.
Gualtieri finally.
See, Janibek got to stay still. What Janibek needs to do, if he wants to get this, he needs to stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Weather the storm. Look to punch in between the shots of Gualtieri because he gets wide with his punches.
That uppercut is a damaging punch from Janibek Alimkhanuly, and so is that right hook to the body.
Did you see that arm go down?
Yep.
That elbow? Tucked it real quick.
Gualtieri earned himself another round here in
That
Texas.
thing. Oh, my goodness.
Inside the Fort Bend epicenter here in Rosenberg, Texas. So new that we could smell the paint, but Janibek is denting the paint
Beautiful
off
up
of
jab.
Gualtieri.
That's a pull. That's a pull counter right there. With that jab first, step back, boom, swept with the left hook, with the right hook, brought him right near that uppercut. Ha! Beautiful shot. That's beautiful stuff right there. You know, those shots are not lucky shots. Those shots are set up and planned well before he actually lands them.
Well, you've been talking about Alimkhanuly setting up Gualtieri since the first round, but he's paying it off here. And in the corner, Brian Valoria was telling Alimkhanuly, I need you to follow up with that left hand. He's there for it. Just throw it.
Well, what he said was that he's no longer moving. He's staying there. You know, he's shielding up, going into that high guard, and you can split that guard with an uppercut or a straight left hand.
Or stick the jab triple time. I was pretty impressed with Gualtieri being able to recover from that left uppercut because it looked like he was going down, just like he's about to go down now. He protects himself. He almost took a knee.
He's never been down, and he's never been stopped in his entire career. Gualtieri.
That may change tonight, but he's showing the will that he said he had. But this is not the place you want to be against Janibek Alimkhanuly, as referee Fields is just about to step in. The next big shot that Alimkhanuly lands on Gualtieri, I think David Fields will stop this fight. The legs are buckled and no reason to receive any more punishment, as Janibek Alimkhanuly is the unified middleweight champion of the world, taking the IBF belt from Vincenzo Gualtieri.
What they say, light work, no reaction. That was good work right there. I told you it was gonna be easy. Told you, gonna be easy. Janibek is the man. He's the man in his division now. Now he has 2 straps. Now, would the rest of the division, or I should say the belt holders, want to face what they saw tonight?
Will Jermall Charlo say yes? No, he's got a fight coming up. He's tied up. How about the other champion, Erislandy Lara, a slick mover, a southpaw
I would love to
himself.
see that.
That would be a style matchup.
Yes.
We saw what Denzel Bentley could do against Janibek Alimkhanuly. That's his toughest fight so far, but the power of Janibek would be the difference in that fight.
Yes, it will be.
You see the celebration from the Janibek Alimkhanuly fans. Tim, let's walk through how Alimkhanuly left tonight, not in the judges' hands, but in his own.
No, this is how you systematically break down your opponent. Alimkhanuly just took his time, setting up his jab, using his feints, just keeping Gualtieri on the end of his punch. Setting traps like that. I mean, he landed right there high on his head, splitting that guard, handed high on his head, and you saw the reaction. It's beautiful work. See, that jab that he's throwing it up and in between the guards right there. He's blinding them, and he's coming behind with that straight left hand, looping left hand right there, high on the head. And you see Gualtieri ducking. You know, the body language. Just look at the body language. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to take any more punishment. And I'm glad that the referee stepped in to stop the action, because it could have got real ugly.
That was how it ended. But Vincenzo Gualtieri took an uppercut that almost put him down. But it was the beginning of the end of this fight. Let's take a look at that one, Tim.
Let's see how he set it up. Stepped in behind the jab, and what? There it is. Left uppercut, perfectly timed. Just a pull counter. That's all it is. Flick jab, pull counter. Caught him with the uppercut. Rush right in. Now the effect. Double impact. He's coming in, bringing his weight in, and he's setting him up for that trap with a loaded backhand uppercut.
Double
Dead
boy
impact.
with Janibek Alimkhanuly in the zone tonight in his stoppage victory over Vincenzo Gualtieri. One man we said was going to leave this ring as the unified champion with all the hardware. That man will be Janibek Alimkhanuly for the official time of the stoppage. Let's send it up to Mark Chinook.
Ladies and gentlemen, here inside the Fort Bend Epicenter in Rosenberg, Texas, referee David Fields calls a stop to this bout at 1 minute, 25 seconds of round number 6. For your winner by technical knockout, and now the WBO and IBF middleweight champion of the world, Janibek Kazakhstan Alimkhanuly.
125 of round number 6. That is the moment that Janibek Alimkhanuly will remember forever. The day he became the unified champion, following in the footsteps